Welcome to another broadcast of I Am AAPC. I am AAPC Alex from the AAPC National Office. Today, I have Jane Larmore from Florida. Hello, Jane.
Hi, Alex. How are you? Great to see you again.
Great to see you too. And
Yep.
you're, I did believe, did we meet in Gainesville?
Yes, we did. We met in Gainesville at the Coding Fiesta, and you spoke about networking.
That was awesome. That was
Yes,
fun. I mean, what
that
a
was
great community.
yes, it was a great community, and it is wonderful to go down there into Gainesville AAPC. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, and you know why we're here. And with I Am AAPC, we seek the stories of AAPC members and their paths and evolution in the business of healthcare. And would you just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do now, and we'll start with that.
I'm from Florida, and currently I'm working remotely with an oncology company. I do auditing. I'm a compliance auditor, and I do a variety of different auditing, and I took the CPMA from AAPC, which I would recommend to a lot of people out there seeking in the auditing field. Um, this job is totally remote, and we have a lot of fun because we do a lot of Zooms, a lot of Teams. There's a lot of variety. There's a lot of coding, as well as auditing. And That's about what we do. A lot of E&M, and I'm physician educator, where we speak to the doctors and educate them about the evaluation and management, which I took the AAPC evaluation and management course, which really, really helped me
Wow.
get the uh, E&M down.
So you mentioned you have the CPMA. I'm assuming you have the CPC.
I have a CPC.
Okay, so tell us about all of your certifications.
Okay, so I have a COC, a CPC, a CEMC, and a CPMA.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long have you been a member of AAPC for?
I have been a member of AAPC since I started in 2016. However, I got certified in 2017. I was coding in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
This journey's relatively new, 5 to 10 years-ish.
Yes, yes. However, it's been quite a journey, and I was very excited when you came out with this YouTube channel to help other people on their journey as well.
So let's get there. Jane, tell us about your work history and what led you to the medical coding field.
Well, when I moved to Florida in 2011, I was a I had originally worked in New Jersey for an aluminum importing company, and I was a administrative assistant. So when came down to New Jersey, and there were no administrative assistant jobs, so I had to change my whole career field. And I knew I didn't want to be a nurse just because the blood I couldn't do, or the MA. So medical billing and coding came up, and I went to an online college,
How
and
did it come up? Did you see?
I
uh,
researched it
Okay.
on Google.
Okay.
And I looked around in the doctor's offices and saw, what different people did when I went to the doctor, and I was interested in that aspect.
So you knew healthcare was something that interested you, clinical, not so much.
Correct.
But
Yes.
and why healthcare?
Healthcare is very important to me because of my parents, and my family, and also the dynamics of the coding aspect to make sure that everything is accurate, and people are diagnosed with the correct conditions. Healthcare is had a lot of the coding and billing and aspect had a lot of areas that you can go into, such
Okay.
as auditing and evaluation management, or just plain, coding. So I found it very interesting to learn about that.
Okay. So you sign up for classes.
Yes, online. And I didn't have a job, so I had to do this course accelerated. So it was um, a university online. And I also took medical transcription because I thought that would help me with terminology, to learn the terminology. And I did it through a online university and accelerated. Yes.
All right, all right. And were you familiar with AAPC at that time?
No, I was not. I did get familiar with it once I got into the course. They mentioned AAPC to join, and I was very excited because I was a member of AFA, which is American Fitness Association of America, and um, I loved being members and having to keep learning and get CEUs, and this was a new path for me to do, so I could continue and learn and educate myself.
Good, good. And was this course that you're taking, was their intent to prepare you for the CPC exam?
No, their intent was to give you just medical coding and billing, and mostly went into the billing aspect of it. So when I graduated, which I graduated with honors, and I had this medical billing certificate, and no one wanted to even look at my resume.
It wasn't being recognized.
It wasn't being recognized, no.
Okay.
So, yes. So, from there, I went and actually I did the old-fashioned way. I went to all the physicians' offices in where I live, and I dropped off my resume, and I waited and waited. However, no calls. So my husband went to a cardiologist, and they said, "Oh, we can do an internship with you." So I started an internship with them in 2012, and I worked my way up into the coding, and that's where my boss convinced me to take the CPC. And that was a challenge for me. And it took us a little bit of time for me to pass that test. However, I persevered and I kept going and kept learning. And each time I took the test, I got better at it and a better test taker. And I then that was in 2017, and I advanced my career in with that CPC.
Awesome. That is so great to hear. What would you say to AAPC students taking the exam for the second, third, fourth time who are
Um,
struggling?
okay, I was there, and you just need to keep going. Perseverance will prevail. Every time you take the test, you learn something new, and look at the scores that you get. And if you aren't passing a certain subject, then study that one a little more. Um, and don't think of it as oh, I didn't pass. It's not that you didn't pass. It's not that you're not a good coder, or if you're currently coding and trying to take CPC or just learning. um, I believe there's a learning curve in taking a test, and this also will build your strength that you need for the coding and billing aspect of the job, because there's a lot of research, a lot of looking into different, uh, uh, I guess, the LCDs, the NCCI edits, and learning all that. And when it's thrown at you all at once, it's so much, and you can only take in so much. So give yourself a little break, give yourself a little time, and do not let that test beat you. You take that test and pass that test. You will pass that test.
Jane, did you ever have moments where you thought maybe this just isn't for me?
Um, Actually, no, because I really liked coding, and like you said, the healthcare field. I really enjoyed the disease process, learning about different diseases, learning about the pathophysiology, And so to me, it was something that I knew I wanted to do and I knew I wanted to conquer. And however, it was hard because I had to take the test multiple times. And I guess there was a time saying, well, oh, I just can't do this, but I got myself up and just said, okay, let's just keep studying.
You're committed to this path.
I'm committed, yes, to this
If
path.
you wanted to do that. Okay, great,
Hmm.
awesome. So you're working, and a physician at the clinic you're working at directed you to AAPC
Yes, they
and
did. Yes.
encouraged you to take the exam. You
Hmm.
passed the exam,
Hmm.
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes.
It was a fight, and that makes it all the more sweet when we go
Well,
through adversity.
yes, it does. And actually, it helped me. I took the CPC and I took the COC a couple of times. It helped me to be a better coder. Um, and I believe that, if you pass it on the first time, that's great. If you don't, just think of yourself as going to be, a better coder, a better researcher, a better learner as you get into the world of coding, or if you're doing medical billing, that is a big field as well. So just keep
Okay,
going. Do not give, do not let that test beat you. You beat that. You
I
pass that
love it.
test.
I love it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great encouragement. Thanks, Jane. Now I see, you have 5 credentials after your name now. You started with CPC. Tell us about your evolution from that moment. So, I mean, really, you've been a member for 5 to 10 years or
Hmm.
so,
Yes.
and you've really been working hard, and you have a vision of what you want to accomplish. Tell us about what led you to these other certifications and where you hope to go.
The COC I thought was very interesting because it complements the CPC, and that is for ambulatory surgical, and also it more operative reports, and also learning about the RVUs and the physician aspect of the billing ticket. And I really enjoyed learning about the COC, and I wanted to be able to have diversity so I could work in an office or I could work in an ambulatory care center. So it opened up my um, options as to be more, to have more options to work in different places. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm pulling up the acronyms. You know these better than me,
Hmm.
Jane. But COC is the Certified Outpatient Coder.
Yes.
And what kind of environment do they work in? Inpatient? I guess it's outpatient coder.
It's
So
outpatient. They work in ambulatory care centers, and you learn the a I believe it's the ASC and different aspects of coding than the CPC, because the CPC is outpatient physician office. The COC is outpatient ambulatory care, or I guess you could work in a hospital because it used to be called the CPCH. Um,
got it.
yes.
Okay. And tell us about the others.
So the CEMC, Certified Evaluation Management Coder,
Okay.
came up when I wanted to move from cardiology, which my heart, I really love cardiology. And I learned a lot in cardiology because you learn radiation and different procedures.
That's
Uh,
tough. I hear cardiology you mentioned in the group, in the Facebook group, and
yeah.
people talk about how difficult it can be.
Oh, I loved cardiology. Just deep dive into cardiology. And I would buy, I have the AAPC webinar subscription. I have the AAP, the magazine that comes. I would just continue to read and educate myself about different new procedures coming up because it's continually changing. So then I decided to take the CEMC because of the evaluation and management. And I was working in coding and denials. And the denials, I wanted to know why we were getting, certain denials. So that course helped me with leveling visits, and helping doctors uh, not get the denials on their visits, as well as get into the compliance and auditing.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And I think that covers all of them. Just about.
CPMA.
On CPMA.
That is the best one.
Uh,
I was like, well, why didn't I take this one first? But you need to take the CPC and then go on. The CPMA course offered by AAPC, and this is not a commercial, it is true, was so interesting to me. I found they went through the history of why there's auditing, how it came about, um, and I really loved that. And that's the way I was able to grasp it. And that test, I just flew, I just went in, took the test, and that was it. And I said, this is where I'm going in this direction. And I was a sigh of relief saying, phew, I made it. I finally did it.
I was speaking to another coder earlier, and they talked about how difficult the CPMA exam was. How did you feel? I know we all, our brains work a little differently. Was it tough for you?
The CPMA wasn't as tough for me because I think it took me several times for the CPC, COC, and CEMC that I was totally prepared for that CPMA. So do not give up when you are taking these tests, because it leads into another certification or another avenue for you that you might be stronger in. So the CPMA is a tough exam. However, I enjoyed that exam. I actually did enjoy that exam.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, so I was really prepared for it.
Okay. And any thoughts for, I mean, well, one, you are a learner. You're a lifelong learner, I think.
Yes, I am.
And what do you see in your future? Are there other certifications that you see on our website that you think maybe I'd want to do this someday?
I think I'm going to take the CRC because of the emphasis on diagnosis coding, just to know. However, I want to take the CD uh, OE,
EO,
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 thank you, EO,
documentation expert.
yes, because that goes hand in hand with auditing. So I think that's next year. It might be the CRC or the CDEO, or both.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
That is awesome. Well, and
yeah,
I love that. I love that desire to keep growing and learning. And as you create those opportunities, you just don't know what paths will open up to you, but you're
that
ready for
that's
them.
that's correct. Because I always wanted to do auditing. Because I went to a couple of AAP seminars, and they were on the auditing side, and they were like the dark side. I'm like, oh, okay. Because there you would really get into the documentation and look at how um, the doctors think, and the pathophysiology that goes along with it is something that I'm pursuing.
Okay, great. Well, what a great story, Jane. I love it. I love you kind of you fell into things, like the
Yes,
right doors opened up at the right time and led you down this direction. It's great to see.
yes, yes, yes. I really enjoyed it. However, it was challenging. So it was a challenging path. However, hard work pays off. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Now, in conclusion, Jane, what words of encouragement would you give to new students who are seeking this career path? And so this is a two-parter: seeking this career path and those who are preparing for the exam.
Those that are seeking this career path, I would tell them to join as a member of AAPC, and to read, I guess, read the guidelines, learn about the coding aspect, and also the medical billing aspect of coding. Um, and there is so much opportunity once you get into the field, and you can get into the field, people are now recognizing, I guess where I am, the CPCA as a way to bring them into the organization and train them. So this, just keep going if you're thinking about it, and if you are now taking the test again for the second, third, fourth time. I'm an example. I don't know if I really want to say that, but I had to, I'm not a good test taker. However, I kept persevering and learning more each time I took the test. And then when it came to the CPMA, it was an easy test for me to take. So I enjoyed it.
Awesome. You figured out the I guess, the not formula, but how it operates and how to manage your
Yes.
time in a
Yes.
half-day exam.
Yes, actually managing your time is very important, and making sure that you fill out that Scantron instead of the book, and keep going, keep moving. Do not stop when you take that test. You can bring little tabs with you, so you can keep your place if you missed a question.
Jane, I don't think there's any shame in saying, you've taken it multiple times. And I think employers want to see that grit in someone who's committed to figuring things out.
Yes.
And you've done that. You are that example of that.
Yes.
So that's great.
Yeah. So,
all right. Well, Jane, thank you so much. I just want, before you leave, I would love for you to just give a big shout out to the AAPC members watching and future members, and just giving us a big, strong, I am AAPC.
I am AAPC.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much, Jane.
Okay,
Thanks for your time, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Alex.
Bye.
Good to see you again.